Salut survivors! Welcome back to SolutOdka channel for an exciting and insightful Civilization 7 video guide. In this brand new installment of the Civilization series, understanding adjacency bonuses and urban planning can seem daunting. The intricate balance between buildings, resources, wonders, and the division of rural and urban districts may leave you scratching your head. But fear not, I have conducted an in-depth study to streamline city design, and I'm here to share my findings with you, eliminating the need for tedious trial and error. Let's dive into this guide, broken down into 3 comprehensive parts. Part 1, District Mechanics, will unravel the core game concepts and mechanics. Part 2, Real-world examples. I'll showcase actual district layouts to illustrate these principles. Part 3, Summary diagram, a handy visual summary of our findings to keep you on track. Remember, while the game is fresh and might see some developers' tweaks, the fundamentals of this core mechanic are likely here to stay. So, without further ado, let's get started with our guide, survivors! Part 1, District Mechanics. It is extremely important to understand that the different buildings you will place will eventually become quarters or districts. 2 buildings together of the same area will compose a quarter. Now, you have different type of quarters because they will have different types of adjacency bonuses. And while at first it seems like a little bit a +1 here and a +1 there will be a big increase in all of that over time. Therefore, we can define it in 3 main categories. You have category 1, which are for gold and food types of buildings, who benefit from a certain type of adjacency bonus. As we can see here, it can be from both navigable rivers and from coastal tiles. We then have the second category. It's about culture and happiness types of buildings. So the quarters with these buildings will benefit from being adjacent to a natural wonder or a mountain. And thirdly, the third type is for the scientific or science and production types of buildings. And these ones will benefit from being adjacent to resources. Now, all of these are always having an adjacency bonus from being adjacent to a wonder that you build, a buildable wonder. So we have 3 main categories. And this is very important to understand that when you are going to plan for your city. It's not obvious at first how to do that. And there are several other parameters to influence on your strategic planning for your city. Because when you are here in Roma, and for example, I want to build a new blacksmith, and I mean here it's not a good place there, but if I wanted to locate a building there, I would not be allowed to, as you can see here. You can only locate your urban districts adjacent to an existing urban district, meaning that all your urban districts need to be connected to your city hall. Therefore, when you are going to work for the design of a new city somewhere, you need to define what will be the really good spots, maybe adjacent to 2 mountains, adjacent to 2 resources, adjacent to 3 coastal tiles, like here for example, and so on and so forth. But you cannot right away build there. Like here, this spot would be really good for a garden, for example, or bath, because it's adjacent to 3 coastal tiles. But I'm not allowed to build there. There, I cannot build there. I can build here though. And why? Because I don't have this continuity of the urban district. Therefore, as part of your planning of a city, you need to define what will be the really good tiles, the one that you want to invest to make sure they will be really good, where in the future you'll be able to locate specialists in these tiles. And what are the tiles that are acting only like connectors, right? So in order to go to this tile, in Ostia, for example, I'll need to build a connector, urban connector, in order to go there. In Roma, if I want in the future to have a really good tile here, I'll need to build a urban tile to go up to that spot. Right? So you need to plan ahead the strategical planning of your cities in order to define 1, the really good tiles that will become of category 1, gold and food, category 2, culture and happiness, or category 3, science and prod, and the tiles that will only be connectors, at least temporarily, just to reach to these really good tiles. Now, another important aspect in the game mechanics is that when you're in an age and you're going to move to the next age, you are going to have a reset to the bonuses of your tiles. So for example, here in Roma, I have here the library. I will likely build the academy in there. And then when I move to the next era, I will lose all these adjacency bonuses. Even if this is a really good spot with 2 resources and a wonder, then because all districts all get a bonus from being adjacent to a wonder. So the adjacency bonus of the wonders apply to all. That's really great. And basically these here with the library and the academy will not anymore have all the bonuses that it has during this era. And in the next era, then I will not have that much. However, there is a new game mechanic called the overbuilding. So when you reach a new era, and here I'm in this save, there I'm in the antiquities here. In this antiquities save, then when I go in the next era, I will have some new science buildings or new production building to put in this slot, for example. Or in the next era, I could reuse this slot perhaps to put a better food or gold district in this location to overbuild on top of the pass, right? Now here, this is a video about the cities planning and design, because you cannot build the same thing in cities and in towns. I believe to do a similar study for towns will be great. If you think it's useful, please let me know in the comments which town design you would find more interesting first, because there are so many different town specialties. And depending on which town specialty you would like to do, you likely do not need the same design. And I'm interested to study that, but I'd like to know which one do you think is more interesting. Is it perhaps the production town, the food town, or the hub town, or the district town? I mean, there are just so many. So a lot of content and analysis to do. Really, really cool. Let me know in the comments. And so now that we have covered how do districts mechanics work now in Civilization 7, let's go to the part 2 and look at some examples, and I'll go to get a save at a later stage in this game. Okay, so we are now here in the exploration age, and I'd like to show you 2 or 3 examples, and actually we'll probably do one together. So, as you remember, category 1, this is when you have adjacency bonuses from coastal tiles and navigable rivers. So in here you can see that you have this beautiful almost complete circle of this for this tile. So this tile here, even if it's a tundra, it doesn't really matter here. It has such a high adjacency bonus that my hospital and guild hall, as you can see, you have 20.5 food, 19 gold, and so many other bonuses. That's because also I have appointed here some specialists, as it is one of the really good tiles. That's a perfect example when you have like multiple coast tiles where the navigable river is going into the sea. You will very likely have a very good spot for the category 1. Now, category 2, culture and happiness. At this time, I think of the game, there was a very interesting one to do here. Particularly interesting because here across the ocean, I found these mountains. So you see 3 mountain style. And in addition, I built the Machu Picchu, which is a wonder. And as mentioned earlier, the wonders always give +1 adjacency bonus. So this tile will get +3 adjacency bonuses of the mountains, +1 adjacency bonus from the wonder. That's going to be pretty huge. So let's have a look here. For example, look, the pavilion. Normally it gives a base of +5 culture. And now when I put it here, I will get +6 culture from the northwest, because there is a Machu Picchu on top of the mountain, +1 from the west, +1 from the southwest. And as a result, you get a 13. I haven't yet even put in there any specialist. So that's a perfect example for category 2, culture and happiness. You have like a bunch of wonders together, a bunch of mountains, and if you kind of wonder, really good. Another example now for the category 3. Here, for example, we have one descent. Here, it's during this exploration age. I built the university and the observatory adjacent to two different resources. I don't have any wonder at this stage of the game. I think later in the game I built a wonder there. So that are a few small examples that I wanted to show you. It's not just a theory, it's some examples, real life in the game. And now in the part 3 we'll go through a summary diagram that I designed based on all these learnings. Okay, and here is our city adjacency bonus diagram. So in that simple diagram we have the city hall in the middle and the different key main cases. So for gold and food on land, as you have here, you will get adjacency bonus from coastal tiles, the 4 blue tiles, and adjacency bonus from navigable rivers. You will also have the gold and food options, you know, from the harbor and the wharf and all this. Here, for the gold and food, adjacency coastal plus adjacency from the navigable river. So that are really where you have these navigable rivers going into the coastal tiles. That's a very good spot for gold and food on land and on sea. Then you have the science and prod. So science and prod tiles are good adjacent to resources on land, and for the prod also on sea. So later on you will have the possibility on sea adjacent to fishes, or maybe some production tiles on land that are beside a coastal tile, and you can also have a really good production tile there. In all of these cases you need to plan for these urban connectors, as we discussed, right? So these urban connectors are very important. Now, some examples of urban connectors, you know, in the start of the game, you will have granary, fishing quay, brickyard, saw pit, altar. I mean, you have many options. Obviously, if the urban connector adjacent to a good tile can be a wonder, it's even better, obviously, right? And then for the culture and happiness, to be adjacent to mountains and or adjacent to natural wonder. So this diagram summarizes all the generic adjacency bonuses you can have for your category 1, gold and food, category 2, culture and happiness, as well as category 3, science and prod. Now, as mentioned, wonders always provide +1 adjacency bonus for any type of quarter. Now, depending on the time of the game and which era, perhaps some tiles will have more importance earlier in the game and some later in the game. But remember that in any case, you have the overbuilding possibility. So if you build up a really good science prod tile somewhere, it's also an investment for the entire game. And when you are in the age number 2, exploration, age number 3, modern age, you will be able to overbuild on top of it and get benefit from it. To be noted though that some of the resources, when you change of age, some disappear, some appear, some change, so it's not necessarily all perfect, but generally speaking you will be able to utilize your investment you do during the first and second age during the second and the third ages. Now, if you have any suggestions and want to share with the community, you know, which tiles you think are easier to do, or if you have some other tips and tricks to share with everyone, please go ahead and leave a comment on that. Now, about this diagram, I think for me it will be useful to have a printed copy of it beside me when I'm playing. So if you're interested with it, I'll put a copy of it on the community page of the channel so everyone can freely download it. And on that note, let's toast to the like and subscribe buttons. I appreciate very much the support. Thank you for watching and see you in my next videos. Cheers.